any of these families Shoyers?
Scheuer.
Yes.
Oh, well, yes, Edmund Scheuer.
Yes.
I remember them well. They lived on Sherburne Street, and they had dogs. And when my nurse took me for a walk to Allen Gardens, which was right across the street above where they lived, I always wanted to go in to see the Scheuer's dogs.
What kind of people were they? Were they warm towards you?
Edmund Scheuer, you know, he was quite a place in the community.
Yes.
And his wife's name was Oda. And they were very highly regarded in the
Did they have
community.
children?
No, they never had children. It's too bad, too. But his brother, Benno Scheuer, had children. Eddie, Rhoda, and another brother. But I don't think any of them had children. So there was no third generation.
Was the Frankel relationship always good with the Shoyers?
Very good, yes. Very good.
All the way through?
As far as I know.
And I have the name Strauss. Do you
Strauss. The Oda Scheuer had a single sister by the name of Teresa Strauss. And this Adele Younghart was another sister of theirs who sang too much and played the piano too much on Sunday.
And the Kallmeyers?
Well, the Kallmeyers we knew very well. They were French.
Can you tell me something about all these people, what their livelihood was, what they did for a living?
I think they had one brother that, what he did, I don't know. But they lived very nicely.
What about Strauss?
Scheuer, Strauss, I don't know anything too much about that. But Scheuer was in the jewelry business, had a store downtown, highly regarded.
And can you start telling me something, what you remember those early days of the Jacobs? Remember Rabbi Jacobs? And his wife?
Yes, I
And his
remember
daughters
that.
and his son?
Yeah. The son I knew very, very well. Yeah, the two girls were young girls and pretty girls. They lived on Grenville Street when I knew them. I think prior to that they lived on, I don't really know, except things that Arthur told me.
Remember
But Rabbi Jacobs used to come over to see my grandmother who had a paralytic stroke. And in the summer, she'd sit on the front balcony and he would walk over. And oh, here comes Rabbi Jacobs. So I'd go and hide my dolls. You know why? He'd come over and he'd say, "Where's that dolly? I want to make dolly soup." And the minute I saw him coming, I went and hid all my dollies. That's true. It was so cute.
Did he have a good sense of humor?
Oh, a very good sense of humor. He was a really nice, warm family man. And never did I think I was going to marry his son. But it happened, and it was lovely.
And his daughters, did they train for anything, or were they?
In those days, Nancy, a working girl was looked down upon. The minute she was a working girl, she was in a different category.
What about the Samuel family?
Sigmund Samuel?
Well, the whole Samuel.
Well, I think, what was his name? He had a son, two sons, and two daughters. Sigmund had.
It stopped. God bless it. It stopped.
Speak about the Samuel family. I think you did speak about them, and the Goldstein, the Kings.
They had a leather factory in Whitby.
Right.
And one of the king's wives was a Strauss.
And do you remember them coming to Toronto often?
I don't know really. You know, in those days when they were still in Whitby, I was really not, you know.
You weren't noticing that.
No.
Do you remember the Benjamin family?
The Benjamins, yes. Frank Benjamin lived on Sherburne Street at one time, and they decided to go back to England. And they had one son, Ernest Benjamin. When he left his canary bird for Irene, Alma, and myself. And the little bird died. And we had a funeral for him. Kids, we buried him in our back garden.
What did that family do for a living, the Benjamin family?
Samuel Benjamin. They were in the steel business. That's where Arthur got his first job, as office boy.
Arthur
because
Jacobs.
his father, Arthur Jacobs, the rabbi had told him, try and get a job with a Jewish firm so you can have Shabbos off. And he started as an office boy with Samuel Benjamin. But then the Benjamins went back to England, and it is now Samuel and Son. And Ernest, he was Ernest Walensky, Bunny Walensky's son, with Florence. And after he died, Florence was a widow, and Sigmund Samuel said to Florence, you should change his name to Samuel, which Ernest did, from Walensky to Samuel, and he's head of a Samuel and Son now. It's a big steel warehouse.
And do you remember any other of the Benjamin family?
I don't think there was any. Alfred D. went to England many years ago. I don't know them.
Franklin family?
Franklin's.
Yes.
Yeah, I just know I think there were two single men and a sister, but I don't think they had any children. They were quite wealthy in those days, supposedly. I never saw the bank books, but they were supposed to be very wealthy. Franklin. Yeah.
Rosenthal family?
Yes, A.B. Rosenthal. That's Gordon Rosenthal's father. He was in the jewelry business. And there was a horrible thing happened to him. The burglars came in and hit him over the head. But he survived. Now Gordon is still in the jewelry business.
Do you remember the early Geld sailors?
The Geld sailors? Yes, Mr. Geld Sailor was always affiliated with the Holy Blossom Temple, or synagogue it was in those days. And he had several children, and each child was named after one of the Benjamin. The white, there was, first was Ben after Benjamin, and all the way down till they got to Frances. Well, Frances was a girl, and there was only one, there were no ladies left to name her after, so they called her Frances after Frank Benjamin.
So they wanted to
They appreciated.
show their fondness for the Benjamin family.
That's right.
What about the Fogler family? Were they around and about when you were young?
Voglers they were around and about, and of course Harry is still here. But I don't know too much about, I think there's some relation to the Finbergs too, the Foglers. I think Mrs. Finberg's maiden name was Fogler or something like that.
And what about the Lyons family?
Oh, Jake Lyons was his father, and
What business were they in?
Esther Phillips was a Lyons.
Yes,
She
and what
became the
business?
mayor's wife.
What business was the early family in? Do you remember?
No, but Siggy was in the real estate business, and it was S.E. Lyons, and his signs were all over the city. He did very well in the real estate. He married a Singer girl, Fanny Singer. She had many, many brothers.
And do you remember more of the singers? Do you remember E.F. Singer and
Fred Singer, Izzy Singer, Richard Singer. There was a Dr. Singer who died very early. He was married to a Laurie. He was married to Ella Laurie. He was a doctor. And then she remarried after he died. They were a large family. At one time, my father used to say, the old man Singer was the largest taxpayer in the city of Toronto. He owned more property in the city of Toronto than anybody else. But But it all went down the drain after the young ones got a hold of the money.
Do you remember the name of the father? Was he E.F.'s father? And
I don't know. No.
what about the Davis family? Remember that
Oh,
one?
they were very, very English. Mrs. Henry Davis. And I have a slight recollection of the Mr. Davis, but not really. But Mrs. Davis I remembered well, and Violet. That was their daughter, and then there was a Bert Davis. But they're all gone. But I think Bert Davis has a daughter. I don't know where she is now.